and showing yourself a little bit of love. Do you guys have any tea brewing? I got my basil. Actually, this is bay leaf and rosemary. Rosemary is exceptionally great for your memory. It's an antioxidant and it's a natural preservative. So hopefully it naturally preserves me, right, guys? We'll see who's around. I have today off. Well, not really. On my so-called days off, I like working for myself. Always allocate time to, pour into your business and everything. And even if you work for someone else too, learn what you can. There's so many people who sleep on that. You know how much free education I have learned being on certain jobs. So there shouldn't be a problem with that, right? If people are serious. And most people who go and venture and do their thing usually worked with somebody underneath, an employer. I like to just call them employers, right? Because you can be the boss of your own life and, use that in their later career. And, sometimes people move, things change, and then they just use that knowledge. So it's so important too. And even, to be the type, even if you do have your own business or you're an independent freelancer, contractor, whatever, there's still a lot of like working with people. You still have to try to get along with different people if you want clients, if you want customers, right? And your mission statement is important too. So, I titled this "Love is the New Four-Letter Word." I almost titled this. I could have went different ways with it, right? It's like, is good content is uplifting content, is that become corny, right? Because most people now, on these spaces, they're like, talking about always the negative stuff, right? And getting the views that way too. And especially on some of these relationship channels, which is just teaching people to treat people disposable. Like, God forbid you catch any feelings, but love runs the world, even if people, don't want to go there with it. Just me watching. Who is this? Do some jumping jacks. I'd like to see what you look like. That's so funny. See, I guess these are people who, want to see a reaction and want to see like, oh, more negative content. I think you're probably the one. Do I look like I need to be working out? I'm in probably better shape, I'm sure. Yeah. Why don't you pop your face? I know. See, you cannot even be positive. It's like trying to be positive on these spaces is like corny to some people. Where's my little pointer? I know your haters are your biggest fans, guys. Don't ever forget that. They are. I mean, they can't help. Yeah, that's why Black Velvet baby, right? For you, that's why you mean nothing to me when you come here talking like that, because you're just talking to yourself. I'm not even reading your comments. It's totally fine. You're not even worth it. Why don't you go on somewhere? Keep talking to yourself. Why don't you go start your own channel and do some push-ups? I'm sure you can't even do one. I'm sure you look like a whole monster, a whole goonie. Beat it. Yeah, so, and that's me showing love, even if you know it or not. Sometimes you got to show people tough love because they're so stupid. I'm not going to shuck and jive or do any of that shit. And if that's what you came on my channel for, the joke's on you. So you keep it moving. That's why the camera is right here. I know. Well, obviously I must be already fit. That's why they want to see me jump around. Which is so funny because I see the views when I put like the little shorts and I'm like full body. I'm like, this is not that kind of channel. It's like, clean up your act and get the hell out of here, right? I'm going to have my merchandise soon. So you guys are going to see like, the different sayings that I have, right? And then people wonder why I get such a snarky personality. It's like, no good deed goes unpunished. You can come on here and start tearing certain people down. I put my channel on blast way too many times trying to help people who didn't appreciate it just like, you know, that sucker bitch that I exposed in one of my shorts. So it doesn't matter. Go look in the mirror. Go, you know, oh, people don't like that. I don't care. You're talking to yourself. Keep talking to yourself. I just want to see how many times you're wasting your time. Keep going. It doesn't matter because I'm going to continue to work on my channel. So keep it up. I know this is probably the most attention you've gotten in your whole lifetime, because people in this world, they don't want love. They don't know what love is, right? It's like I'm showing love all the time, trying to share some of my tips, my holistic remedies. You know how many herbalists have had a target and been gang stalked just because of that topic alone? That's why I just take things in the private. You guys know my email. Yes, I'm sorry you feel the need to just be so relevant. You don't exist to me, sir, ma'am, whatever you are. Sorry. You're not my type, especially talking like that. Go away. That's why a lot of people are having issues, because they don't know how to, you know, get along with anyone. They probably don't interact with people in real life. So they come on here and it's like, oh, all of a sudden I have some courage because I'm like behind the bush, or, you know, I could just say whatever. It doesn't matter. So if you got this type of time, keep it moving. But again, yeah, that's what people want. Because when you talk about, oh, I want to make, you know, positive content, you know, clean content without debating, without making it like a tabloid. I know, you know, that's what some people's channels have turned into. I actually had a solid foundation where I was exposing some of the medical industry. We kind of went into some of the books that I have, and, you know, just keeping like a clean lifestyle as far as clean living, clean eating. People know that that's what I do on my days off too, while I'm working on my online business as well. And that's what keeps you healthy too. And also emotionally, I don't let people get me, you know, aggravated. I am just so above that. It's like, it's nothing. I've heard it all before. It ain't nothing. You're nothing new. You're not original. You're not interesting. And yeah, you don't move me. You don't come here and say, do this, do that, okay? Because you will just be annihilated, you know, and I can say what I need to say and keep it professional. Hi, Erwin. Thank goodness. Thank God there's like actual real, you know, mature people on here. I was like, geez, did I get a bad batch today? I was ready to, like, you know, catch and release. Hi, Erwin. It's been a while. How are you? Well, yeah, I just put up that the title, Love is a Four-Letter Word, because, you know, I'm really feeling for people in the dating market. Like, even me, I would be like really gun shy if I was out there dating, just because of like the mentality of some people. It's kind of immature, as you can see. Like, certain guys don't even know how to act normal around me. It's either, you know what I mean? They're just trying to objectify me in certain, which I don't ask for. I dress normally, I talk normally, I'm not doing anything. I'm just being me, you know? They'll, you know, try that, or they think that, you know, for whatever reason, they have mommy issues. So I attract those types too. And they'll just come and pick like the pettiest fights just to try to distract me. Like I can't even exist, and like just talk about whatever, right? They're probably like dreaming about me. It's like, sorry, keep dreaming. I'm doing really good. I've been working a lot. I'm actually, this is really cool too. We can go into it sometime. But I help design fireplaces. Look at this picture. Isn't this gorgeous? With remods and new construction. I like this idea because I really don't like the idea of an actual real deer. Like I know some people have that. I like this look because you have the antlers and the look, but you don't have the actual deer head and stuff. So I talk to people about, you know, what their needs are, if it's electric, gas, pellet. I have a picture of a pellet stove. So it's really good, and different, really good brands that we specialize in. You got the Nordic here. A lot of people now, oopsie, they're getting more modern ones. So yeah, I'm learning like the difference, like with pellet stoves, like some people want to be self-sufficient, right? So the pellet stoves, though, you still need electricity to run it. So if you lose electricity, you're screwed, right? For the blower and all that. The gas one's pretty good. If you lose electricity, it's still gonna run. This one is really nice. A lot of people like this look. If you have like a corner, so, you know, we specialize in that, you know, the pads that go underneath and stuff like that. Don't mind my cheek. This is just my makeup that stained. This, I was doing too much putting blush on. I tried to scrub it off so many times, it like stained my cheek. So, yeah, really cool. So like that company is really good. Yeah, they're not cheap, but it's a good investment, especially, you know, it depends if you have a chimney or not. You can use the actual fireplaces. There's certain models if you don't have a chimney, but if you do, there's inserts. So there's like freestanding ones like that. You know, pretty good. The wood too. So yeah, really great company. So yeah, I like the field that I'm in. I'm meeting a lot of people, and it's like a technical thing, so it's really useful. I even learned how to drive a forklift. Even though I work in the office, I'm like, you know, I'm the type, I want to learn everything that I can. So, which is, you know, I encourage you all to do too. And yeah, just take that with you and rock with it, right? So love can be shown in different ways, right? Sometimes people, you know, when they want the best for each other, they try to, you know, educate, and some people, you know, will get in their feelings. There's a lot of insecure people. So I'm just really good how I, you know, deal with people nowadays. But people think, oh, even if you work for yourself, you're not dealing with people. Well, if you're not well liked, and, you know, you have a bad reputation for just, you know, not having good dealings or being a jerk, people are going to know that and like not want to, you know, deal with you. I did change jobs. Do you remember my last one was at the hotel as a front desk agent? There are more for fireplaces. Yeah, that's the electric ones, but they don't really heat as well. So if you want something to heat, you would want the gas, the wood, or the pellet. But this job, oh, it's just better. They take care of me better. I don't have to commute as much. The last place, the people thought they were just better than everyone. I can't, you know, work with people like that. You know, they were really, really hoity-toity, and I was getting paid $1 less working there. And I was also on call on certain days. So I'm like, this place, work till my time, I'm out of there. It's, you know, very organized. I'm learning something new every day and something useful, and everyone's like so chill, so humble. You know what I mean? I'm just like day and night. So that's what God will do for you. When people say, oh, they can't find this, they can't find that, it could be the location, but it also comes with like your demeanor too. I've been getting better with my resume skills, so I can add to it too. Learning different software, always just trying to pick up something new all the time. So I'm not scared to like, you know, venture into something I haven't done before. You know, I'm just like, all right, got my notebook, which I do, been taking notes, you know, and it's been great. Like little things like, you know, gas takes aluminum pipe, you know, it's all about that venting too. It's very intricate. It's making me think about the Gene Hackman story too, like, because they got like ventless fireplaces, but, you know, there's like pros and cons with that. And you do got to clean it every year too. So I'm like, maybe did he have a fireplace? Was the air quality bad? So it was making me think all of that stuff. So you learn as you go. Hey, what's up, Imran? How are you? How's India doing? It must be so warm and nice. It's actually 60 degrees today. And I was just talking how like love has become the 4-letter word. People are like, ooh, love, gross, you know. And that comes in different forms. You know, I try to advocate loving thy neighbor, you know, just being a decent person, you know, just, you know, going out and, you know, trying to, you know, be a positive influence however you can, even if it's for yourself, you know, and trying to be better. But a lot of the relationship channels, it's weird. Like they're pushing, you know, guys just be by themselves, you know, free agent. That's like the thing, right? With that guy who pushes that. It's almost like, very Catholic of them because, the Pope doesn't have a woman. So it's like, and then we see what happens with that, right? And in the Catholic Church, there's a lot of rumors that the popes like get down with the nuns. I'm just saying, can't talk too much about that, right? But there's still men behind all of it, right? So it's a big facade and it's very unnatural, right? So it's like, and for those two, I like bringing up the word love too, especially for those who are like, oh, I believe in science, right? And I'm like, how do you explain love, right? It's such a hypothetical, it's such a feeling, but people, are moved by that. There's songs about it, right? The Bible speaks about God's love too, right? So, yeah, people's whole lives are, predicated if they got, it doesn't have to be a romantic love, but some type of love, right? So, very interesting. And, but now it's just becoming passe, like talking about, anything like clean cut. It's kind of like corny on these spaces. A lot of people want to turn it into like tabloids, So it's kind of like, I just move on to other things. And when I have time, I come on here because when I did stop my channel, I was putting myself out there way too much, exposing certain things, talking about holistic remedies, exposing big pharma and stuff, just to be attacked. And then when you get people who, act like they're, your students, or they come around and they're emailing you long, stories and trying to connect with you and all of that. Yeah, that's great and all, but they can turn on you in a heartbeat. And I can't deal with weak-minded people. I just can't, right? And if I'm talking to someone and they care more about what their friends thinking, they can't think for themselves. I'm like, we can't, be cool, I guess, or whatever, because you move in a pact, and the more maturity you get, you should be able to stand on your own, which I had to do in different situations when, I didn't agree with certain things. I had to be, tough enough to take the heat, right? The good and the bad. I am blessed by your prayers. Thank you. Thank you so much. And I believe everything happens for a reason, like my new surname too. Is Salah, as you guys know, and I guess that means prayer in the Muslim faith. I looked a little bit about Ramadan, not that I know much about it and stuff, but I was raised with like fasting and just things to that nature, observing the Sabbath and abstaining from pork. So a lot of that had to be like influenced probably like back to Abraham, I like to say maybe, because he had a son, what was it, Ishmael, right? So that was like the proponent probably of that line, that family line, which is there, right? So there is a lot there. That's why, I love delving into history and stuff like that, because a lot of us have more in common than we have differences. It could be just the color of our skin can be a couple of shades off, but we have like a very similar upbringing and interests. So you can tell, like, maybe millennia ago, people just migrated, but they had similar interests, and maybe they were once, neighbors and things like that. So that's why I love doing lives too, because I'm talking to some of you guys in India and different parts of the world. It's like you're my international neighbors. It's like I'm just so blessed by that, right? So that's our way to show love to each other. Check in. How's everyone doing? Giving my 2 cents about what's going on. Hi. Yes. Thank you so much from Italy. Oh, I wish I went there. I hear it's so beautiful. The best food, the best people. Bellissimo. Yeah, I appreciate it. A lot of people think, well, my family's surname is Ferrara. And I guess the Italian form is Ferrari, right? So I still think like somehow, some way we're like, related, part of the same family tree, like just different parts of the world, right? Representing. I'm very pleased. My name is Angela. Oh, Angelo, just like Angel. Very nice to meet you, Italian man. Ooh, very nice. Yeah, Italy is so great. I just, seen pictures or videos or whatnot, but I would like to visit sometime, especially, maybe on my tour, go to Portugal, maybe France. I wanted to go to Morocco, but how are they with women? Do we have to cover our hair? Is it strict? I don't know. I need to, know the territory before I just go. So if I don't know, I'm just gonna, wait on it. So what's your name? Diana. But on my channel, I put Dia, which I love because I didn't realize, it means also day too. So it's kind of cute. So, and, that's kind of like my nickname. I put Dia Dash because I'm on the go. I'm just, quick witted. There's like a lot of things you can deduce from that too, right? So I have other channels too, but, I haven't had time to pour into them. I shall, and I come up with different names all the time. But I've met more people on this one, although I still have one that's called Alpha 7 Media. And, I do things like read to the public, like certain books that, I did a lot of research when I was on here. I use the internet as like my personal library to help me because, people are like, oh, you learned it on the internet. It's not true. And I'm like, well, it led me to books and a lot of different documentaries. And this was actually written by an actual doctor who exposed a lot of stuff. But, people really get in their feelings when you talk about some of this stuff, right? And how it is like a religion in itself. That's why they have the symbolism and stuff. And it's not as healthy for people as we've been led. But, this is a big, big, big business. So, I did piss off some people talking about some of this stuff and, misguided family members who did some procedures. And I'm like, no, there's natural ways to do it. And they took it as my love was hate speech, so sometimes, like they say, no good deed goes unpunished. I try to, open their minds and give them solutions. But, even on here too, you think you're helping people and then they learn to hate you. So it's just like, okay, I mean, do people even know what love is? I think some people can spend their whole life and still not know what that is. Listen carefully. Amron, you're funny. Okay, bye, Erwin. Nice seeing you. You guys know my email. If you get busy, you can always shoot me an email sometime, dia-@yahoo.com. Thank you so much, Angelo. I appreciate it. Yeah, I appreciate it. I do my best to take care of myself. Hi, yeah, it's okay. He seems like he's being tame and stuff. So yeah, as long as it's like with respect, it's better than me being called fugly, right? So I'll take it. And I try to drink my tea. I know in Italy you guys like your espresso. I'm not gonna lie, I do like watching Sopranos now and again because it's so funny. Because some of those temperaments of some of the Italians are a lot like the Portuguese. I mean, we have a lot more in common than people like to. And that's why we get, sometimes people think I'm that too, right? Because when you put us together, sometimes it's very, very similar. And yeah, it's just, their vibe. They dress really well. I mean, you can't go wrong with, a well-dressed man, right? So a lot of them, they still know how to, throw a nice outfit together. So yeah, we can take a page in America too. You got people going outside with their damn pajamas on. True. And the hygiene, like I said, I was almost going to title this Cleanliness is Godliness. I think I'm going to make some merchandise. I've been working on my Teespring store and just putting like things together, to remind people. Because even that, right, or I'll have my next slogan, two, what was it? 2 showers a day is always okay, something like that, or is something like that. Or I like to write things down, or is the way. Of course, I just jacked it, but I like writing down certain things, right? Especially, to help people with their hygiene. The book of Numbers, chapter 19 goes into it, like the cleaning rituals, being clean or unclean type of deal. Some people, it's fine if you want to do your 1 shower. I usually do one before work, one before I go to bed, right? Just to, you know what I mean? Just to feel fresh is nothing like a hot shower. It's just amazing. And, when things are going crazy, I just like taking time alone. Like I tried doing some errands today and it was so crazy out there. I'm like, I can't move with the flow. It was just stressing me out. So like I'll just take a day to like just focus on me. It's so important for you guys to do that. But in this life, yeah, so love is becoming like so passe, right? Because like on these channels, and why I tie it into hygiene is because you will have some of these programs on here that are teaching guys to just, expect sex right away from a girl, to, no strings attached, and say it like that up front. If a girl hears that type of rhetoric, she's going to think the guy is uber dirty. Like, what do you mean? Don't you have enough love for yourself to get to know someone, or to at least, focus on one thing at a time? Because you know what? If you're building yourself, your brand, or if you're working hard, if you're, just trying to get better each time, you can't spread yourself thin like that. You have to be intentional of what you put your time into and who's investing into you, right? That's why a lot of people end up like pairing up in work situations, because they dealt with people who invested in them too. So like being with someone that can invest in you emotionally, at least give you enough like to focus just on one, right? But a lot of people can't even do that. So I would be like, I don't know how well I would do in the modern dating situation, because I have very minimal tolerance for that type of stuff, which, some people in my past know that, right? Because, sometimes they don't see, they'll see one little thing, they get spooked, they think, oh, you may be impulsive, or you may be high maintenance, or they make up all these like horror stories in their head, which is like totally false, right? And then they'll like learn to mistreat you somehow. And at the time, I've been through it, and I had to love myself enough to be like, yeah, I'm not putting up with certain things, right? Because some people, they say they love you, but their love is pain. They don't know how to act, they don't know how to respect, they don't know how to treat you like an intellectual equal. So you got to shut that part of yourself off and survive, do what you got to do, right, to elevate spiritually. Because if you're in a situation and there is no love, you're with someone who is attracted to you, which a lot of people are attracted to each other, but it seems like they just don't care about what happens to the person. People get sick, people go through it, and to me that's such a turn off. If I'm going through some things and people want to be like, oh, write you off or whatever. That's why now I don't like showing too much vulnerability, because they see you, maybe going through some things, and that's when they tap out. And then, things get better and you're stronger and better than you ever were just a few months after. And it's like, yeah, well, I seen you for what you are. I seen your horns, and I don't want nothing to do with you. And, then they'll have a smear campaign and whatever. And it's like, yeah, too bad, because you only see me, in this way, and you dehumanize me, right? Because people do that. They will dehumanize each other. So to me, it's like, okay, if you don't have that, attempt to having that much concern, it's not worth it. So I don't know how people can like trust each other enough. Like I couldn't. And they're like, okay, we're going to do this thing. But like, they obviously showing they don't care about you, because, they can put you at risk or make you sick, and then you're ruined. So that's a lot of the times a test too, to see, God will throw things in your path to see like your discipline, if you are, walking the walk, not just, talking the talk kind of thing, right? And then you got to make like these like quick decisions, like, am I going to go for it? I'm just going to let it go. Like, it's okay, just to let some things go. You don't win them all kind of thing, right? So much harsh life. Yes, 90% died. Yeah, a lot of the times it has to do, like, that's why I got my little black heart here, right? Black Velvet, like that song. A lot of people, there's people who die of a broken heart. You've seen animals who will give up if their partner dies. It's quite sad. I don't know if you guys ever had some birds. Super sad, right? Where one will just like refuse to eat and just don't want to function. It's like, so it's something that is real, and what animals and people will do for their children, like that love. So it's like, okay, it's hard to qualify that, right, to an over analytical mind, because it is like in a way based on some type of faith too. And it was just, I was talking to someone, they were like, I believe in science. And I'm like, well, that belief, just the fact that you said you believe in it, that kind of qualifies it right there as a religion, right? So, I think slowly here we go. Slowly they're starting to come around. Some of the people that I've been working with in certain arenas, sometimes we'll chat and they'll get really, they'll pick my brain on certain topics. And I want to not even want to talk about certain things, and we don't have to. I can respectfully agree to disagree, right? Because love too is giving it up to God and letting God do what they got to, he has to do. Because a lot of people will come on here and act like they are the trumpet, they are the voice piece, but they can't move a mountain. They can't do anything. They should seek their own salvation. What does the Bible say? With fear and trembling, because no matter how good someone is, it doesn't matter how much you preached on the pulpit, whatever, he still knows your inner thoughts. He still knows all of that, right? So it like transcends all of that junk. Got any questions, guys? So much. Yes, absolutely. Oh, thank you so much for throwing up the Cash App. No, I'm not dry begging or any of that stuff. I work really hard. But if people like to help, support the channel, as a tip, because I do see people throwing their tips and all of that to those that, maybe may talk down about women or other people or different groups, right? So again, if it's clean content, it's not always popular. And that's why, I do what I got to do outside of this. I don't do it for that, because it is considered a nonprofit, and anything that I get, I pour back into. But again, it's, some people, they're just takers. They're not givers. They don't want to invest in you. That could be in the dating world too. That's why I'm just like really tough how I go about it, because you'll have people like want you to let your guard down, but it's like, okay, what can you offer me too? It goes both ways, right? Because in relationships and mature relationships, that's why, I knew how to vet and find like the right thing for me, because it's someone that showed they cared more than anyone else. And I wasn't going to sabotage that for, the couple who were like, oh, I think you're this, I think you're pretty. But it's like, that's all you are to them. It's just like like this fantasy, this image. But you know what I mean? If you're going through a hard time, if you're sick, would they even flinch twice? I remember being without a car just for a few months. And I just remember like a whole different vibe I was getting, because it's just strange how some guys judge women on the same accordance. Like they're supposed to, have it all together the same, right? And it's like, yeah, it's too much of a competitive nature. But like I'm from a time that like the guy wanted to show like, he can do it and he had your back and all of that. And that was actually a source of pride. And nowadays it's like completely different. And I remember I was going through a little too, and you can tell like they didn't want to deal with it. They were like, thinking there was drama. I don't know what preconceived notion. And they were like, disappeared or whatever. And then like 2 months later, I had it, like I was back on top, had it all, and that's how you're like, you're not it. You don't know how to love people like for real. Some people just really just love themselves, and they want to just feed their pleasures, their good time. And I guess that's like a narcissistic trait. They just look at people as fuel. And of course, I know some women do that too. So, I mean, you can take that and flip it, right? If it applied in a different way, right? But I'm going by what I have dealt with, right? Even in platonic certain situations on here, you know, you'll have people who will take it and make it dirty and stuff. And for those with good intentions, yeah, I totally appreciate it. I can tell the difference. That's why, you know, I still keep a good attitude. I still make a lot of male friends too. Because I do see on my channel that there's a lot of male viewership as well too, which is very flattering. I'm here for you guys. And you guys let me know, like, what do some of you guys like to talk about? Some guys on some of these podcasts, they're just like, you know, complaining about women too much, but then acting like, and then also complaining that they don't get enough intimacy and attention. I'm like, well, if you walk around acting like we're so bad and you're picking on every little thing and not seeing the positives and the, you know, the great things that we can add to the equation, of course you're going to come across like, you know, like a repellent to women because they're like, oh, here we go, this freaking douche not appreciating, you know what I mean? Like, got to look at things with the glass half empty. Oh, and you know, if they're talking crazy like modern women, or if you open the door, they want to say you're masculine, like making stupid, mean, like mean-spirited jokes kind of thing is an indication that it's just going to go downhill from there, right? So it took me a little while, right? Because, you know, I had that in the past, and, you know, I know some of you guys go through it too. Some people ask questions, you know, about certain things. And I'm like, listen, some people didn't know how to show love. They thought they knew me when they didn't know me. They thought, you know, I was bad when I was good, or, you know, you could be, you know, they can think that you're good when you were bad. Like, they don't know how to read you at all. They don't even want to try to understand you, right? They just have like this persona where with certain narcissistic people, you're just like an accessory. You're just like an endorsement. They don't love, they just want someone to make them look better, like more normal, you know, like, because if you see people who are like are single for like so long, you're like, oh, they must be like a nightmare to get along with and all of that stuff. And then a lot of guys try to act like, oh, it's so great, you know, to you know, think that you have all of these choices and, you know, love is stupid or whatever. But it is a bad investment just to, like, you know, if you live on the fast lane, it does catch up to you. It is more taxing, and there is more, you know, drama that can happen. And I don't see it being fulfilling like that. You know what I mean? Maybe because girls, we kind of had a taste of that lifestyle maybe when we were younger, you know, where some guys are late bloomers. So when they get, you know, even a semblance of that attention when they're older, they let it get to their head and they just like go crazy with it. But, you know, having someone that cares about you or enough that they'll drop whatever, you would be surprised. That's why I know, like, you can call it scientific or not, but there's something about it, right? Where you might, you know, do better or want to be better because you found someone that you do love enough, right? And that you show that you want to be your better self and you want to do what's best for them all the time. And it took for me to see that when someone put like my interests, you know what I mean, or my well-being above their comfort level, that to me speaks volumes, because I've been in situations where it would be their comfort level was more important. And I'm just like, well, this can't work because I can't feel safe and let my guard down, you know, and connect with you when it's like that. So I'm seeing a lot of that. I'm seeing, you know, that's why like the world, you know, is getting crazier. It's like, where is the love? Like, so true, right? Because the best things are done in life is based on that. Like the most noble things that I have done was because of love for someone else, my family, you know, working hard, you know, for my children when they were small, like, you know, just always trying to be the best, you know. Hey, I'm waiting for this channel to get monetized. Who knows if it'll ever get monetized? Well, I mean, I guess I'm not raunchy enough for some people. I'm not, you know, demure enough for others. I don't know what it is, right? But it's been taxing. It's been taxing. I have, yet to see. I've seen people who are, I hate to say it, right? I hate to say ghetto, but they act it on these spaces and they get monetized. So it is what it is. It's like a lot of people, they do like that. It's like the tabloid type of stuff. So I'm going to keep myself out of YouTube jail. I know that much because, I've come across like a damn heretic in this world. Sick of playing Trinity from the Matrix, trying to wake some of you guys up just so you guys can kick me when I'm down. Me giving you guys some shout outs and supporting some of your channels, but then you get really competitive with women and then you're, slurring my name and, trying to pick a beef with me just to be freaking relevant in my life, right? And it's like, who am I? That's when I know people are just like out to lunch and, without, some type of love for humanity or for the world or anything. I'm not saying, oh, love, what's in the world. Like, we don't got to get all biblical and preachy, but meaning like, having that type of like good natured, it's like, what is even the point? I just don't even understand how some people can move like that and deal with themselves, right? And make you into this celebrity that you're not. Because I had someone steal my pictures, right? Just my thumbnail, even my freaking thumbnail. That's why in my thumbnail, I was given a side eye, right? Don't mind this. This is just like makeup that stained my cheek. No, I didn't get into a fight. Don't even try to assume. It is makeup. Yeah, they wish, right? But so in my thumbnail, I'm given a side eye, right? Because I'm like, yeah, so many people have things to say, right? And when you try to show like, agape love, general platonic, just being nice to people, I try to be nice to all God's creatures if I can. Then, they'll steal from your stuff, which I hear it because I don't give people a view or anything that was a little two-faced that tried to weasel their way into my channel, right? Acting like they were coming in peace, right? Not giving them any clout. I know how much they want it so bad, right? But they'll try to pick fights and use your talking points because some people don't have their own personality. They got the most to say about people, but these are the type of people that will use and abuse like teachers, employers, whatever, right? Like you give them a fair chance and they will find a way to snake you. So he took my picture and put it along with like other celebrities and try to say like I had reptilian eyes. Actually, I have beautiful hazel eyes. Thank you very much. And put it up with like others. I'm like, wow, you're really giving me like so much clout. It's not even funny, right? And I had to learn to laugh at it. And I was just more annoyed because I'm like, you came in like you were, innocent but then it just became like something ugly. And what made it even more disturbing was that the little brainwashed study group, that's why I don't do private study groups, no mas, that were emailing me and showing support. Now they were like worried about, they were friends with said idiots. And now they're being like groomed to, be red pill or, hate the female study partners that they had. And I'm just like, so sad. It's sad. It's not even worth it. Right. So that's why, you got to save your energy, right? Because people don't want love. They want hate. They want whatever. And I'm like, this is not that type of party. I do not have patience for that. I don't do cyber connections, love connections, just because you don't know who you're dealing with. People are so fickle. They could have dummy accounts. They're not trying to know you. They just, are looking, they just think of you as like this character in their minds, right? But it's not real in most cases. So I got to be really, really careful. Not that I'm standoffish, but I've just been through it a little bit right on here, having really good intentions, coming from the heart, right? Doing free lessons, even counseling people too. I mean, I know psychologists who are getting paid thousands per hour, but people want to tell me their life story, which is fine or whatever. But if you're not blessing my Cash App or, showing any type of love in however capacity that could go toward the channel, that could help educate others. There's so many things, right? It could be a coffee or whatever, right? No, so I tell you guys too, make sure that you don't like squander your love in a loveless situation or environment. If you find that you're in an environment and people are like super cold-blooded, don't waste your time, right? Thank you. Hi, Tim. Welcome to the chat. What are you guys doing today? Well, hopefully you guys can spread a little love too. But yeah, talking about anything like positive or uplifting, it is like super corny on YouTube. People do not want to hear it. And I'm telling you, you got a lot of predators on here. They can do it for entertainment, for whatever, comedy. But it is, showing that the environment we live here, especially for those who say the Bible isn't real. There's a lot of streets. There's one around here called Sodom. And I'm like, oh, MG, okay, Sodom and Gomorrah, hello. And not only was it for, certain lifestyles, the alternative one, it was very like hedonistic too, like in Rome and stuff, like, the hookup, the this, the that. And it's like, just because someone's willing to do that with you doesn't mean they even care about you. It's like really not a flex nowadays. Like to me, it's way more sexier if I see someone, trying to wine and dine and, all that fun stuff and just try to keep like a clean cut vibe about them. Knows how to just focus on me, doesn't gotta be, you know what I mean? That way it makes me want to focus on them, because if I'm dealing with someone that's giving me that type of energy, then my attention is going to go elsewhere too. You know what I mean? Like it needs to be both ways, right? So sometimes you can meet someone in your life and they could be uber immature and they could be better, years later. I've noticed that too, right? But they didn't want to like hang in there, or, they thought the grass is greener and then they realized, oh, wow, you were like, you were, like the best fit for them. But they mistreated that gift when they had it. So, you have to do what's best for you. That's why, I have a lot of experience with certain things and how to overcome them as well. So I don't mind, chatting it up with you guys. If I have an hour, like I'm doing right now, we'll go up to like an hour, and there's a lot of people who, will, monetize even that. So because my channel is not monetized for being put in YouTube jail just for reading stuff in this book, I've had whole fights with people, freaking family members, husbands and all that. I don't know what it is with me and certain guys. They just love, it got to be mommy issues. It got to be something, because even if we don't have like a romantic connection, if I think differently or if I talk about something that's contrary to what they believe in, they got to stop their whole life to argue with me. And I'm just like, listen, I know how to numb my heart and keep it good. You know what I'm saying? I have a big heart, but it also knows how to go dormant and, give it right back to them too. Because when I'm dealing with somebody with a black heart frequency, mine goes into, hibernation mode, right? Because I'm like, you're not going to give me heart problems. You're not going to stress me out. It is not even worth it. I'm just so grateful for life and, for the good things that I have, and the opportunities. So when people thought they can play with me and like, listen, this is my boundaries. You're not, willing to reciprocate that. You don't love yourself enough, or, if you can't love yourself enough, how can you love me, right? To not show a little bit of, discipline within yourself. And girls get turned off too. If guys are too easy, they're ready to like get down too quick. It's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. It can't just be me that's so special. If you're like this loosey-goosey with whoever, I got to question things a little bit too, right? Or for the idiots who look at women who had kids in the past and expect, respect and fidelity and, a little bit of restraint. Hello, just because they have kids doesn't mean that the guy that they had kids with didn't have to go through the proper steps and the vetting and do all that. Yeah, he went through all of that. That's, what made him be in that position until he didn't, meet those requirements, treat you good or mistreated you or, mentally abused you, whatever. But the point is to even get to that, right? Took a long time, right? It wasn't just something that happened overnight. I can't speak for anyone, but it's like, yeah, they did do the most. That's why we even got to that point in the first place. And then when when someone cares about you, even if it doesn't work out, even if whatever, right? Tempers flare, whatever, people hurt each other, but enough, like the difference of like when someone's really into you and how they will invest in you and treat you. That's why too, when it changes or they switched up, there's something else going on. Could be they're getting influenced or someone else is, piquing their interest, because if they're not keeping up with that same energy, you know what I mean? That can happen both ways. But yeah, like the stuff people are preaching now, it is all to set people up to fail. It's definitely like publicity, scamming, all of that stuff, right? And yeah, guys are going to have issues because if you like to treat women like we're stupid, you complain about us all the time, you don't know how to show love, and even in a non-romantic way, before it gets to romance, you got to do a little platonic love, we're very emotional and intellectual. You got to make us laugh, you got to show like you care. There's many times I've been in conversations and I'd be bored to tears, but I knew that topic was important to that person I was talking to, and I would act like I was super interested, even though I did not. That just showed a level of love and concern and care. And you could do that even with a friend, right? And that all goes to like being personable. Like I said in one of my shorts, like life is, the sales industry, right? In one way or another, you're pitching something, especially when you're trying to get someone to see your point of view. It's a very, delicate dance too, and it can't happen overnight too. It's not gonna happen, right? But it's okay for someone you're dealing with to have their own perspectives, right? And you can meet somewhere in the middle as long as you guys treat each other good, right? They can believe in one thing and you can believe in another, and eventually, what you're studying can make more sense to them. That you have to like give it to God to let it unfold and not think that you could just be his only ambassador. Like he doesn't work in other ways too. So some people get really, really stupid when it comes to that, right? And they'll come up here and they'll misuse it. And, they're really racist with it too. So I didn't appreciate that, especially since I was one of them who read it and looked at the historical context and was very sensitive, and very, open to learning other ways about it, right? A lot of people want to fight over the more of the ethnicity of Yeshua or Jesus than the actual tenets that he was teaching, which is unbelievable. Okay. So counter to anything that any of those messages, right? So it's become a clown show in a lot of, instances, and it's keeping people distracted, right? And, emotional, where they can be easily controlled and led and things like that. So, I try to, pick my topics a little bit more carefully. I'm not going to expend so much energy into people who will like extract whatever information, not support, not care. If anything, be a little jealous that, you're studied enough to talk about certain things. And me, I like to keep my channel professional and clean as possible. I'm not getting into unnecessary debates. If I get organic companies wanting to work with me with some of their products and putting some of my products together, I just want to be more of that, you know what I mean? More of that joyful kind of vibe, because any other thing, it's like a win for those who really despise you, right? Because even those who say they loved you, could have really hated you, right? Because their actions said it all too, right? And a lot of their love is fake, because as soon as the times get tough, I've had that too. That's why I'm just like, a lot of them, they're not ready for it, and that's why they won't receive it, because they won't nurture it and grow and have it grow. And real love is almost like work too. You know, relationships are not easy, but if you find someone that you like enough, like all that other stuff will follow. The intimacy, all of that. But intimacy starts in the mind. And a lot of people don't even want to have that connection. That's why you'll see, you know, some people on dates, it could be a girl being like really nervous or shook because the guy is not making her feel comfortable. He's not asking her if she needs anything. You need a drink. It could be 100 degrees outside and he's so oblivious. He's just thinking about how he wants the day to end, that he don't notice that, you know, he's being rude and difficult to the point that, you know what I mean, she's counting the seconds to get the hell out of there, right? And yes, I've been in those situations and I'm just like, gosh, you know, for all that, you might as well, you know, stay alone. And I've gotten that even with trying to work with certain people because, you know, now they realize, oh, maybe they can be assholes. It's like, yeah, exactly. You know, you could have said, hey, what's up? Sorry, I misjudged you. I tried to clown your channel, even though I was learning from your channel. You know what I mean? All, and that you were trying to give notes and things like that. You know, like I said, I'm very, very busy. So that's why I just stopped commenting on certain things, because just to take that minute to even interact, that to me is a lot, because I've been just super busy and I've been just so blessed to continue. And that's why I try to encourage you guys to, like, you know, just keep your head up, as they say, right? And try to be a peacemaker. And that kind of resonates with you. People can see that. And instead of getting in the mud with certain people, I just let God take the wheel, as they say. And then you hear, you know, when you were down, they thought they were up, and now they're down. I'm hearing stories, and I don't wish bad on anyone, but it's just like, hey, don't have your hand out. I didn't have no GoFundMe's when I was going through it and making all of these crazy things, right? If anything, I was helping other people do it, right? And now you're seeing, you know what I mean, that some people now, they've been humbled, and I'm just like, hey, I poured into my next level, getting better, and I just knew that I had to have faith in God and the abilities he gave me, myself, have enough love for myself to not waste my time and give people that didn't deserve it attention. You got to be like that. You just can't do it, because a lot of people will pick fights with you because they want your attention. They can't get it in a positive way. That's got to be like the cheapest way to do it, probably. Of course, I always, you know, I try to do it in a private way because, you know, some people had questions they want to ask me straight out. You know, I, you know, have a lot of insight on a lot of different things. I've seen a lot, right? And I think I'm smart enough to know the difference, and, you know, helping you guys out too. And I know some of you guys are really classy, upstanding men. Of course, you're not in America. Go figure, right? Passport, sis. I'm going to turn into a passport, sis. No, I'm good. You deserve millions of blessings. Thank you. From all over the world. Yeah, you never know. Maybe I'll visit India one day, right? It's nice and warm. I love it hot. I love spicy food, and I like it super hot. In the winter, I'm like the coldest one in the office. I'm like freaking out when everyone's like comfortable. I'm like, I just can't with the cold. We'll see. But I love that I can make friends all over the world. It goes to show, right? I know I have cousins on my dad's side of the family that I have yet to meet. So, I mean, imagine. That's why I love like throwing out my surname, and, you know, you never know. I can have one of them, you know, contact me. I'd be so super happy, right? Because like one half of my family, I wasn't able to meet because my family migrated here before I was born. I was the only one in my immediate family. I'm, you know, what they call an anchor baby, whatever. I was born here, but I only really was raised up with my mom's side of the family. So I met my dad's mom, I think once when I was like 3. Then she shortly passed away. My mom had me on the later side. She was like 37 when she had me. I'm the baby, right? So, yeah, so there's like cousins, there's like, I know I have some in Canada, some in Portugal, and who knows, they could have migrated elsewhere. They probably some in America, but that really does suck. I really would love to connect. I guess I'll have to do a little history digging, right? Just because I feel like I missed out on so much. So when it comes to being on here, this is great. It's just a way to connect with people and to share our experiences and know that, yes. And this world is like love is like the new four-letter word. It's like love, ew, ew, ugh, cooties could never. Like it's like you're being weak if you love. That is like the hardest thing to do in this life, at my age, to keep a heart that still functions and that can still have empathy when you've seen just how people can be cold, even people that you cared about, how they can betray you. Some people can not want to deal with you just because of your views. That's why I don't like talking about politics or certain things. But I mean, geez, you would think like holistic medicine, what is so controversial about that? But a lot of people, they're in this really sad place of being indoctrinated, right? I mean, if you look up, Chinese medicine, I just think that, mankind has been doing so much before the medical industry was even a thing, right? But this book here, Confessions of a Medical Heretic, I'll try not to get banned today. But I used to read a lot from this, how it talks about how it's like a church, how all it does is mess up your organs, it's all deadly drugs, it's all, the bottom line, how there's like an herb for everything, and so I'm like, wow, and this is actually from an actual doctor too. Chapter 3, ritual mutilations. We go into it, and I tell people like, certain surgeries don't need to be done. Young women, you don't need a hysterectomy. Like, what are you doing? Right? I've heard it all, right? And they go into how this is a lot like a cult-like religion. All of the lawsuits, how the FDA, allows certain things because, let's just say they're bribed by the corporations. Word of the day, kids, bribery. Thank you. Love you all too. I appreciate it. Yeah, I got a little red cheek a little bit today. That's why I don't like wearing too much makeup. It's making me look like a whole dolly. Ooh, my little red cheeks over there. I love to hate love so much. I love it. Wait, what? I don't know. India is unsafe. It's an unsafe country for ladies. That's what I'm saying. I have to be really careful where I travel, right? You need to know about the Manipur. What is that? Crickles? How do you spell that? I'm gonna have to write that down, Emron. See, you're teaching me stuff every day too. Hold on. Where's my little notes? I'll write it on here. On my book. What you got there? What you got there, my friend? Manipur. So yeah, in certain cultures, I know it's like women are like second-class citizens, and that's how they're trying to make it in America too. With some of these like ideologies, like don't think so. And no, I'm just really appreciative that we can walk freely. Like I never had to worry about like covering my hair, although the Bible goes into it, covering it. I can see if I went into a temple or I'm praying, things like that. But I mean, you shouldn't be like, arrested or prosecuted because of like your opinion or if your hair is uncovered. But I think maybe that's why I get some strange characters on here. Maybe because they're like over religious zealots or, who knows, really don't like women at all. And they say that women don't like men. No, it's really the other way around. And a lot of times, to be honest, it just depends on what circle you're in. But it just seems that women always get judged more harshly. Although, like, the guys can be in the same situation, right? Women feel like they have to, they have more on their shoulders, right? They're expected to be more perfect in certain ways, right? So that's why less is more. You don't owe anybody an explanation of your life story. I think I was pretty tame considering I could have been a lot worse. I think like there's a lot of men who were in my if they were born me or were in my shoes, they would be animals, you know what I mean? And it takes a lot of discipline to even be a woman and to like keep yourself, you know, um on top of things and to preserve yourself and just, to keep yourself healthy because, even as you get older and stuff, like there's always going to be opportunities where, you can do high risk situations. It doesn't stop even when you're older. It's still a mindset. And some people, they've been really repressed when they were younger or they got married really young. And then they'll like go crazy when they get older and stuff like that, and to each their own and stuff, but it doesn't stop any of the consequences, you know what I mean? Like if you have someone that is just that thirsty and they just want to get to the point and they don't want to like tell you too much about their life, or you just feel rushed, it's like this person must be dirty. Like how do you even rationalize moving like that? You know what I'm trying to say? When there's people out there who are like, oh yeah, I'm a ladies man, I'm this, I'm like, you really can't care about yourself that much, because like even if you did it all the time and you were putting yourself out there, that does get played out. You become numb to it, and the allure of it goes away too. So the more people like overanalyze it and complain about women, the more that they're going to push them away. Because I see the same guys that are on here and they're like, I wish a girl would give me attention. And I'm like, why would they? You got the most to say about them, so don't worry about it. It shows that we do have a lot of value, right? But they don't have enough love to be sweet and to want to take their time and to wine and dine. It's all about, them just, trying to build a life, but they don't want to share it with anyone. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, then don't, So there are some types that I just can't get along with because they think that, like people are stupid. But in reality, that's a lot with the YouTube spaces. But, I see great couples all the time, some that really inspire me. And the best ones are, when the husband's loving on the wife, they're working as a team. I work at a company where it's a husband and wife. They're just amazing. So, it definitely shows me that, the more successful people, the real winners, they really value that type of structure. They know that's where you built more success, right? And a lot of times they're blended families. So don't think, oh, it's just some, you know what I mean? Someone that they've known when they were younger. So all these preconceptions, conceptions online is not what's reflected in real life, because you see the opposite and you see people like when it's there, that it was love that sparked that like real true, connection. And that's got to be the glue that keeps, this world going, right? In a meaningful way where, it would probably like self-destruct by now, right? So having enough love for, being clean, the environment, knowing that keeps us healthy and keeps like the diseases away, things like that. And just like when people are trying to get you to just do whatever, I've had that situations like, come on, let's just have fun. Let's just do this. And it's like, yeah, I know. Like, you know what I mean? I'm not going to take like crazy chances. And, you're not even, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to take any type of, chance to waste my time, to soil myself or anything if it's not one that is intentional enough to like build, you know what I mean? Because a lot of people think they want something until they have it. They're like, oh, I want a Ferrari, I want a Lambo, but you don't want to put good gas in it. You don't want to maintain it. You don't want to do nothing. You don't want to pay the payment. What's going to happen? Bye-bye. It's going to get repossessed. It's going to go bye-bye, right? Same thing with anything in life, right? But when it comes to the most important decision, someone that you have in your circle, your partner, if you look at it like it's, nothing special, you're only hurting yourself and wasting your own time too. And I'm all about quality, not quantity. All about quality, right? I'm not, I'll go to the Dollar Tree sometimes, but I won't go all the time. You understand what I'm saying? I rather have just a couple of nice things that, are solid than a bunch of crap. So a lot of people think that it's, such a badge of honor to have like a huge roster, but that just shows that you're just not a serious person. You know what I mean? It goes both ways too, right? And yeah, it's nothing, nothing different than what the Pope's doing too, right? Being really unnatural over there. And there's a lot of things that they do behind the scenes, right? That, makes you go, hmm. But I've noticed some people with certain ideologies, they do belong to that church. It is a mindset. It is almost like a religion. But just the term love itself, it's like, oh no, never. But people should just be a little bit more laid back too. Also, I'm not from the school of thought that some of these channels like Pop the Balloon and all that. Some of these shows are like, you have to have a relationship with God. What's your relation like? Going that deep into certain topics is just a recipe for arguments. Just keep it light, what they like in a part, what I'm saying, what they like to do. I think like the heavier we go into certain topics, the worse it kills it. Sometimes you can get gaslit. They'll try to ask you for, background information and past relationships. Then they'll turn around and get upset or whatever, get in their feelings, like you were just living under a rock. Like, what would that make me look like there was something wrong with me if I had like no life at all by the time we've met? Does that even make any sense to some of you guys? I don't think so. Yeah. Oh, you liked it? You thought it was funny, Imran? Too funny. Yeah, so make sure you drink your tea, Imran. I care about your health. I'm going to show you my sisterly love. I drank a little bit of rosemary. Oh, made my memory it's so on point. My memory is scary good. I mean, some of us remember how our bedroom looked like when I was a baby. I remember where the damn crib was, okay? So it's really funny. Sometimes I'll misplace my keys like real quick, but like I can remember what happened like when I was 2 or 1. It's nuts. So our mind is a very interesting thing, definitely. But I don't overstress myself too much. I know that, there's a lot of people who just don't have like real love. Like, they showed me that. And so, but I don't let that turn me into someone who's uncaring. I'm just that much more, I wouldn't say reserved, but just a little bit more aloof and careful. And like when I first started this channel, I had a troll. You're going to get that. You're going to have people trying to get reactions out of you and things like that. And it's like, I don't budge for no one. I don't, do any of that anymore. And I definitely don't go into the mud, right? Because I know that more people that, they're on the hate frequency constantly. They hate themselves. They hate probably their living situation. They, whatever, right? And they project that constantly. Or to people like, you could represent somebody that rejected them in the past, whatever, and they think they're getting some last laugh. I'm like, you're so dumb. You were, so blessed to even have me in your vicinity, right? And although no one's perfect, we do go through, the different phases in life, and you might end up being, just, grow into that perfect person that they wanted, but when they were in your life, they couldn't see that. They didn't appreciate, your growth, your journey. And although they would say they love you, their actions said otherwise. You know what I mean? Their actions were very flippant. And so I'm very in tune. Someone like me can see that. And it's like, okay, if I don't feel that burning whatever, like call it needy, I don't care. A lot of people, don't like that because they think, just like with the plant, if you just water it once a month, it's not going to go anywhere, So I tell people, if you're not going to be serious, then just stay single. Like, why even waste your time? But there's also a double-edged sword because at least in a relationship, you have someone that you nurtured some time with, so there's trust, and then you are earned that intimacy. But if you don't want to do the work, you can't expect that, you know, on the fly. You can't just call someone up like, hey, come over, give me a girlfriend experience, and then go home. Like, that's only going to go so far. Like, that's not feasible. So some guys want that bachelor lifestyle, but they still want girls to act like girlfriends. Like, it doesn't work like that. I'm sorry. It really doesn't work like that. You either got to get serious, or, you know what I'm saying? You got to activate Mona and bring out Mona. Remember Mona? You're going to have to activate Mona. You got to put some red lipstick right here. You got to put some eyes, and you do the rest, and that be it, right? That way you don't gotta say she's pretty, you don't gotta do nice things for her, you don't gotta buy her lunch, and you know, you control it all. I take hibiscus flower drink. It is really good. Yeah, hibiscus, very good, Imran. That's awesome. Yeah, make sure you hydrate. It's really good for your skin, just good for your mood entirely. So on my so-called days off, which is really not my day off, I am going to be spending some time designing. On my off days, I've been making some logos. I think I'm going to really push out some of the merch. I've worked with an Italian company too. They're haggling me on some designs. So helping designing some casual shoes and sneakers. So that's great. And I do my, you know, my healthy stuff, drinking teas. I'm trying to stay away from the coffee today, not drink too much coffee. And, you know, trying to, you know, be relaxed, right? You definitely got to show yourself a little love and attention whenever needed. But yes, guys, just don't waste too much time on here. I'm going to let you guys go soon. Listening to so much crazy stuff, because yes, it could make your heart turn black if you listen to it enough, right? Or if you listen to the lies of just some people out there. Some people, they don't, you know what I mean, they don't love on themselves, they don't appreciate themselves. That's why a lot of people walking around with suicidal thoughts, bad energy, and they just want to like touch you or be near you to transfer that energy, thinking that is going to lessen it for them. But if anything, when they try to get too close and mess with you, your energy will just make them worse. You know, then they'll be even more suicidal because they'll realize that they mistreated you. I've seen that where guys just like crashed out. It's like after the fact, when I didn't want to talk to them anymore, it was like they got crazy. And I'm like, yeah, you know, it just wasn't for me. I'm sorry, you know, you just, you know, just like they have their standards, women have ours too. And, you know, it is what it is, right? And sometimes they can prejudge you. They can think that you're going to be a handful. And, you know, then they will come and watch you a little bit later and be like, damn, you know, I was misguided, right? So I see that, but, you know, have enough love for yourself, guys, to move away from situations that are not helping you grow. And although, you know, some people have too much pride, they can't show you how much they appreciate you. They still watch, they'll still, you know what I mean? I noticed that because it either they're watching or it's just a damn coincidence, unless we're all like hooked up to the Neuralink. Because I will literally say a word that I haven't said. I'll say certain things, right? And then I'll listen to someone, or maybe I'll be like, oh, let's see if they're talking crap, because I'll know, like, I'll have, you know, gang stalkers with their own channel. I'm like, oh, let me see if they talk crap, you know, this time. And they'll literally like bring up certain topics that I was talking about in my video. So I'm like, you're obviously listening. They're obviously learning, right? And it is what it is, right? So sometimes people can be so competitive with you, even though you're only competing with yourself, that they will, you know what I mean, try to betray you, right? Because they don't know how to even love on their friends or anything, right? Or be respectful. But, you know, they can't help but watch you, right? Because then they'll, you know, a lot of people are impulsive. They'll crash out. They'll be too sensitive and they'll realize, oh, I overreacted. Yeah, no shit. But by then it's too much, right? Because they're trying to clout chase off you. They got to use your image and lie on you and scheme on you when, if anything, they were, the ones who approached you trying to, be relevant, right? And then all of a sudden, they try to, defame you and things like that just to be relevant. And I'm a small channel and they still don't even have the same amount of subscribers as me. It's like, sorry that you feel the need to talk bad about people, right? Especially when you try to snake your way into their little study circle, right? And you still can't get your numbers up. So, you know what I'm saying? The truth speaks for itself. Thank you. Your counseling I'm a natural born counselor. What can I say, right? That's why I attract a lot of mentally ill people, probably, Imran. Hence, right, why I should get paid like $1,000 an hour for this, right? When they, try to give me shit or whatever, because that's what I deserve for dealing with their mental anguish, because I know if anything, they're dealing with abandonment issues, self-esteem issues. A lot of people are struggling with their own identity, so they think, sleeping around, just getting attention from strangers is going to heal that void in their soul, but it never really goes anywhere. They don't realize that they themselves are the void. Get it? I feel much better than to take medicine. Yeah, screw them doctors, right? Let's see if I have anything I could read to you from here. Because I know that you care about this topic. And there was one here that I was going into. I mean, he pretty much says how the whole industry is like a, it is like a church, right? And there's a lot of mortalities and things like that, right? The different surgeries. I'll just read a little bit on chapter 3. This doctor says that, I believe that my generation of doctors will be remembered for two things: the miracles that turned to mayhem, such as penicillin and cortisone, and for the millions of mutilations which are ceremoniously carried out every year in operating rooms. Okay? Thank you. Conservative estimates, such as that made by a congressional subcommittee, say that about 2.4 million operations performed every year are unnecessary. That goes for removal of tonsils, hysterectomy. If that's your choice, that's your choice. But again, you were born with it for a reason. There's a lot of ways to reverse it naturally. And the doctors sometimes, especially if they're surgeons, they're going to push whatever because they need to get paid. Okay. And that these operations cost $4 billion, okay, and 12,000 lives, or 5% of the 250,000 deaths following or during surgery each year. The Independent Health Research Group says that the number of unnecessary operations is more than 3 million. And various studies have put the number of useless operations between 11 and 30%. My feeling is that somewhere around 90% of surgery is a waste of time, energy, money, and life. One study, for example, closely reviewed people who were recommended for surgery. Not only did they find that most of them needed no surgery, but fully half of them needed no medical treatment at all. The formation of committees to review tissue removed in operations has resulted in some telling statistics. In one case, 262 appendectomies were performed the year before a tissue committee began overseeing surgery. During the first year of the committee's review, the number dropped to 178. Within a few years, the number dropped to 62. The percentage of normal appendices removed fell to 55%. In another hospital, the number of appendectomies was slashed by 2/3 after a tissue committee went to work. These committees and study teams are composed of doctors who are still working within the belief system of modern medicine. There are dozens of common operations that were no doubt seen as useful most of the time, such as cancer surgery, coronary bypass, and hysterectomies. Yet, as far as I'm concerned, 90% of the most common operations, including these, are at best of little value and at worst quite harmful. So it's from this doctor. Make sure you guys try to see both sides of the equation before making your own decisions and not just like blindly believing, hey, yeah, they said this. So it's just like a mechanic. They're going to upcharge you. You know, you go in there for an oil change. Now it's like, oh, you need a new oil filter. You need this, you need that, right? Where are the WHO officers? I'm not sure where they're located, but those are the ones. Oh, I love this chapter. The temples of doom. That's what hospitals are considered. The hospital is the temple of the church of modern medicine, and thus one of the most dangerous places on earth. When a culture develops to the point where its citizens live in houses, the gods of the people have to reside somewhere too. A temple is built to house the spirits of the religion. Whatever vision informs the religion is present in the temple, and the building becomes the center of prophecy, the place where the gods speak to the people. When I hear someone, usually an older person who wasn't born in this country, say that the hospital is where you go to die, I say to myself that he or she has been hearing what the guards are saying. Children again provide us with a measure from their unclouded perception. Kids are unabashedly afraid of going to the hospital, just as their fear of doctors is something we could all cultivate to our advantage. So is the fear of hospitals. Of course, a child would be hard-pressed to articulate his or her fear. Even most adults have a hard time isolating and describing exactly what specific things he or she is afraid of in the hospital. Besides, adults are afraid to admit fear. Priests of the temple take advantage of ignorance by assuring us there's nothing to be afraid of. There's plenty to be afraid of. The God that resides in the temple of modern medicine is death. There are germs in hospitals that you can't get anywhere else in town. Not only because hospitals are such dirty places, but because of modern medicine's fetish for ritual purification. Yes, now that appears to be a contradictory statement, but it's not. Hospitals aren't kept anywhere near as clean as they should be. Housekeeping staffs are generally smaller than necessary. Whenever you have an overworked staff, the tendency is for only the obvious jobs to get done, and not that carefully either. So what you're liable to find if you look closely is dust and dirt in corners and other out-of-the-way places. Hospital dust and dirt isn't the kind of dust and dirt you find anywhere else. I mean, this book it spills all the tea. Yes, I give this guy a lot of props. So the people who helped in, educating us beyond our programming have come in all shapes, sizes, and colors, right? So I can appreciate truth whenever I get it. I also learned a lot from the esteemed Tim Morrow. I think I'm like the only one that even brings him up. Everyone just references Dr. Sebi, which I learned a little bit from him too. I think he's the one that talked a lot about the placenta births. Great. But Tim Morrow, great teacher. He since passed away, RIP, lived a long life, very healthy, and talked about natural medicine, the dangers of the medical system, and how detoxing and keeping your body clean from the inside out is the best way to stay healthy. So if you want, his family has kept his YouTube still going, so you can always subscribe to his channel. He does not have, well, they do not have the permission set up where I could share his videos, like, you know how sometimes I can share different videos on my community tab. So you know, you can just go visit his channel and you'll see, you know, how he breaks it down in a really great way. So that's where, you know, he was one of the really great mentors, just, you know, learning online, that opened my eyes to a lot of things that we were doing wrong. And, you know, some people wouldn't even see that as, you know, a loving thing to do. For me, that was an amazing thing to do for the world, to take the time to educate. You know, it's not always, you know, for anything, right? It's for, you know, to uplift people and to, you know, help them not make mistakes that could be easily corrected, because a lot of things that are done to people are self-induced, is from lack of knowledge, right? Like the Bible says, the people are destroyed for lack of knowledge, and thinking they're doing the right thing. You know, what do they say? The road to hell is paved with what, guys? Do you know? Do you know what it's paved with? The road to hell. Have we heard of this term before? Come on, what's the answer? With good intentions. It's literally paved with well-meaning people, but because they were taught in a certain way that was contrary to natural law, you know, a lot of these schools are funded by pharmaceutical companies who make extensive donations, you know, to have their name on the wall or whatever, right? To push, okay, whatever. Sometimes they'll invent certain issues, right, to be able to market some of their drugs. And it's a really sad place. I talk to, you know, really smart people who feel like, you know, they need a blood pressure pill every day. And I'm just like, dude, you know, there's plenty of things. Rosemary tea, you know, don't, you know, how much is a bottle of that stuff? What are the side effects, right? And they could be really into health and trying to be healthy, but they got this thing they were told that they needed, and that could just be undermining, you know, a lot of the good that they're trying to do. But again, I'm all about free thought, free choice. I give you guys a different way of looking at things, but I don't, you know, force you to think my way. Just like, you know, people can have their opinions and stuff. You know, I know what I think is valid. I've done my own research. You know, well read. I do like to read, and you know, I pray on the rest. You know, and you know, I give people spaces, because sometimes, you know, even when I was learning some things, I had to do a lot of trial and error, and even I was a little apprehensive about certain things, right? Because, you know, then I felt really betrayed too, because you know, I felt misguided. The people who taught me wrong, you know, were pushing vaccines, acting like it was the best thing ever. Then you could see what people were really made of during the pandemic. And that's a discussion more people need to talk about. I mean, a lot of people got those injections, and there was a time that they said, don't have sex with anyone. And yeah, how do you not know you didn't inject AIDS into yourself, or syphilis? You know what I'm trying to say? So, you know, I would really careful. I don't know, you know, how comfortable I would be without talking about that. At least bring up the vaccine thing. But, you know, people are so willing to, like, you know, do the most with people, but they're embarrassed to have certain conversations, right? So that's why it's good to know someone on a friend level. People run away from that. You know, I had somebody run from me because I said, oh, we can be friends and stuff. But it's like, yeah, you're not going to be anything more until I know that we even get along. Like, so they got all insulted. Like they thought they were going to get the boyfriend privilege, you know, just walking off the street. And I'm just like, it doesn't work like that. That's stupid, you know? What about acupuncture? Is that I am not into sticking needles into me, Imran. I don't know if you've ever tried it. I don't think it's necessary. I would probably recommend a massage, right? But as far as needles and pressure points, I mean, massage the pressure points if you feel that that's helpful. But no, I'm not doing acupuncture. Tim, I'm sorry that you wish that you were dead and never born. Well, you were here for a reason. I do tell people who are struggling with depression that, you know, if God wanted you dead, you would have been dead already. And you're obviously here, you know, for a purpose. You know, I watched a movie yesterday and this guy took his own life. You can tell he just was sick of life or whatever. And I'm just like, you know what? That is like something from like the devil in your ear, because, you know, we didn't give ourselves our body. So, you know, I don't know if you believe in heaven or hell, but I don't think that you would go anywhere good if you murdered yourself, you know. And we've all been down. I've dealt with tragedy and depression in the past and all of that, and had existential crisis, you know. But I realized God brought me out of certain situations, and he has carried me in a way where people already that I've known have passed away, have, you know, things happen and stuff. And you know, I kind of look at it like as being grateful, you know what I mean, that he had us come here for a reason. You know, how many people are not born? How many people didn't make it, right? So don't forget your mission. Maybe you knew instinctively growing up that you had like a bigger calling. And then sometimes life can, you know, turn your heart cold. I get it. Don't let it, it's okay to go through the emotions or whatever, but you're not dead. You're not down and out. And spiritual death is the first death, but you can come back from that. You can feel like you're dead inside. I've spoke, you know, as off the record counselor, I've heard a lot of, especially young people, walk around and say that they feel dead inside. And I understand that to a point, you know what I mean? Feeling like, especially if you've been betrayed or you feel lost or whatever. But that could just be, it could be a nutritional thing. It can be a health issue. It could be that you're not looking at the glass half full. Like, try to look at things that are good. You can walk, right? You're not in a wheelchair. You know, you can see, right? You can move around. There's people who can't even do that much, right? And try to see the positive. So just look at what you do got going on. And as someone who's dealt with depression when I was younger, if you know, I know it's hard to see, but you don't know where your life's going to take you in 5 years. You can be like, wow, you know, because there's been times that I'm just so grateful that I held on and kept my bearings together, because I'm like, wow, you know what I mean? I'm glad that I made it this far and stuff, because, you know, you start to appreciate things more and more, and you could be here to help someone else too, right? So we're definitely here for something. If you were that bad, you would not be here at all, I don't think. You have no family and friends. I know that feeling too. I mean, I've had certain family members and friends turn their back on me because we don't agree on the vaccine topic and all that. So I know what that feels like. I'm kind of like going through similar things as far as, you know, family who purports to love you, but you don't hear from them. You don't, you know, they don't check up on you. If anything, they'll just like see what you're doing on Facebook. They might think you're too opinionated. So because you don't move like them, it's tough in some things, but you can always make a new family, a spiritual family. I'm more of like a guidance counselor. I wouldn't say psychiatrist. I don't really, you know, agree with all psychiatrists. Some of them, you know, it's all about, you know, how did that make you feel kind of vibe. It's like, shut up. If they're a good listener and they don't come across like that, I can appreciate that. But if they recommend, if they try to get you on, you know, pharmaceuticals or try to recommend Prozac and all that, I'm like, yeah, I'm good. You know, then I feel like that movie Get Out, like they try to put you in the sunken place. Like, no, thank you. But and that's why they're called a shrink for a reason. They could be like shrinking your minds in a way. So, you have to be careful because, they get paid a lot. That's great. But I mean, you can have that same experience with someone on here if you just want to like vent. And like I said, you can always email me if you got something going on. I appreciate small tips, even if it's, coffee or something, in my Diana Dash Cash App. If you really can't and you just want to, talk real quick, that's fine. But if it's a recurring thing, obviously, you know what I mean, I could take certain people that really need it because a lot of people wouldn't expect that I have a lot of experience in different emotional issues like that. Just because you can deal with trauma, you can deal with heartache, you can do, we all do, right? But it's all about turning lemons into lemonade and coming back stronger and being that testimony. I mean, read the book of Job. That's why the Bible is so good too, because look at the story of Joseph. He was given over to slavery by his own brothers. I mean, that's effed up. That sucks, right? I'm sure he was pretty depressed too. I think he was thrown in a pit of snakes. I mean, really scary shit. You know how you have older siblings and they always want to torture you? I've been there, done that, scare the shit out of you. Try to do things to make you cry. Yeah, I understand that. When you get older, sometimes it never never goes away and you got to stick up for yourself and you got to tell them to back up and leave you alone, so you can feel okay. You know what I mean? Like, you shouldn't have to be in this fight or flight. You don't have to fight for survival. You shouldn't have to, if you're dealing with people who always want to see you down or, upset, then, get the hell away from them because their love is really hate. You know what I mean? It's really hate. Thinking about it. Yeah, just try not to think about it. Work out, do some herbal teas, some meditation, journal, read, take your mind off it, better yourself and treat other people better than how you were treated. Sometimes the best people are the people who went through it the most and know what it feels like. So, you could just be going through the fire right now, as they say. You're being refined. Like I say, don't let adversity define you. Let it refine you. It will turn you into that compassionate person that knows, like, I know what that feels like, and I'm not like that. You know what I mean? I'm not going to hurt someone like that, and just because you were born in the same family doesn't mean you guys are all going to have the same spirit. You're not all going to have the same outlook. You could be the black sheep where you'll call out certain things and they want you to sweep it under the rug. They want you to shut the hell up about it and act like shit didn't happen. Act like you didn't see domestic violence or, you know what I mean? Things like that. So, or, backstabbing, so I'm totally very empathetic to that stuff. So if you want to look at me as some type of counselor, I can, talk about certain topics, toxic family dynamics and how to maneuver through that. Less is more. I wouldn't tell them where I work or anything like that. Been there, done that. Had a relative try to call my last job and it was like, she's bad news. We fought. So therefore, I'm like, what is our personal beef got to do with my job? You're such an idiot, right? And these are people, yeah, they'll do the most. And these are people that you could have babysat. You could took care of growing up. And you're like, you little freaking, you little demon. Things a lot, right? Because people are cowards, especially this generation. They don't know how to fight their own battles, right? They literally will they'll talk shit. You'll get into a disagreement. And Facebook is the devil. Yes, I know, right? Because they'll DM you talking shit. Why are you talking about seeds on your Facebook? You're dangerous. What you're saying is bad. It's like, ooh, and I'm like, why don't you get effed, And then before you know it, they're trying to email your job. I'm like, you're a freaking coward. You're pathetic, right? So yes, I know. So sometimes not having them around, my friend, is actually good for you. It's God's way of protecting you. Because yeah, I can feel a little lonely, but not really. I never feel alone. I always keep myself busy. God always gives me something to do. I always feel like I have like this, a spirit around me, just keeping me, safe or whatever. Because when I was around certain family and friends, I felt really alone. I could feel the demonic energy. I could feel the competitiveness. A healthy competition is good, but I can feel the backbiting and the disingenuous. And I used to have panic attacks. I used to be like really depressed. I used to be down more. I used to be like, it was affecting my mood. And it took time for me to realize that it was the people that I was moving with. And sometimes your biggest adversaries and the biggest toxic people can be those you're related to. So you're not going to get along with every family member. And if it's more cons than pros, you got to cut it off, because sometimes they can be really dangerous. Like sometimes they can be violent or potentially be that. So if they're like that now, how are they going to treat you when you get older or whatever? So God could just be showing you what it is, and you can make new friends, new family. I just meet people all the time. The people I work with, I deal with, the people online that I meet. I have spiritual friends on here too. I try to, be my own friends, right? Care for myself. I'm very independent. I don't feel like I always got to call somebody and hang out with anyone. Some days, when the man's doing his thing, I'm just, like I'm talking to you guys, doing a bunch of cleaning, cooking, whatever, but just enjoying my private time. You know what I mean? And I'm happy not to be bothered by certain toxic family members, right? Because, some of them are just that, they're bullies. So I'm like, if I had them around, I'd be going crazy half the time, fighting for my life and my sanity. So, sometimes, blessings don't seem like a blessing at the time, but you might look back and see. In our culture, my father and his brothers live together. It's quite therapeutic to have more family members, and other siblings helps you with life hardships. Yeah, if they're loving and they care and they want to help. But try having family members. I mean, I love my son, but he had to move out at, almost 20, because he was starting to act like he was my boss, and to the point where he was punching walls, getting really emotional. And I was actually scared for my safety for a time. Although, I did the most, he was my little buddy when he was younger. You know what I mean? At some point, sometimes they can, listen to rhetoric that will turn them against you. They can start acting like the other abusive parent and stuff like that. And, my siblings, the most they ever did was maybe pay for a plane ticket or maybe buy me a cake on my birthday. But would they help me with hardships? A lot of the time they create the hardships. You know what I mean? Some families are like that, so, you got to do what's best for you. You know what I mean? If, I know some people who have sons who do the most for them, who would fix their car and carry their groceries. Then you got others who you may have coddled them too much and they end up being little monsters. You know what I mean? I'd rather live alone. You know what I mean? If that's the case. Like, I suffered a lot being on, eggshells, having people around, dealing with everybody's moods, not being able to have my own breathing room, like, people trying to tell me how to live my life when I was good enough to be a parent, right? I was good enough to be the parent with custody at that too. So I couldn't have been that bad. You know what I mean? Couldn't have been that bad. Yeah, you need to find yourself spiritually. That's right. Imran, I'm not making fun. I'm being dead serious. I don't know why people... I see what you're saying, Tim. I am, very empathetic. No, I know how serious that stuff can be. And if you're around people that are toxic and that are hurting you spiritually, yeah, that can be like a spiritual suicide. Like, they want to see you take yourself out. I mean, I don't talk about this often, but my ex, my child's father said something really, really, really evil that I'll never forget. Saying that, the kids would be better off if I took my own life. Knowing that I was dealing with a little bit of postpartum, you know what I mean? So, that shit will carry you. That's why when people are like, oh, why didn't you make it work? Why would I with someone like that who has such like an evil eye toward me? Like, they're like, how do you come back from that? You know what I mean? So that right there told me, like, you know what? You don't need a room full of people to feel whole or, cared for or valid, because you could be Mr. or Miss Popular and have nothing but snakes around you. And these are people who, pursued me, acted like, you know, they were so grateful to be in my life and all of that. And when you stick up for yourself, or if you guys don't have a meeting of the minds, they can be really Catholic, like I said, really controlling in that way, really misogynistic, and you stand up for yourself, then they'll say some weird shit, even knowing if you're going through it. Some people will wait until you're going through something really serious to say such things because they want to see if you do it. That's how evil some people can be. So I just learned to, rise above it, and I'm thankful for it because at the time, it was really hard to hear that kind of stuff. I'm going to a cadet college. Any advice? Well, just stay focused. I know in college, a lot of people will try to get you to go out a lot and stuff too. Make sure you get your work done first. Make sure you keep, make sure you stick up for yourself. You might get, hazed a little bit because you're new, right? So they might kind of give you a run for your money at first. Just take it on the chin, be tough, do the best you can, get all the credits that you can from it and keep it moving. But all the social time and stuff, just try to keep it real limited. Unless you're with somebody, sometimes you can meet somebody great, and that's fine, if it's worth it to make time or whatever, but you're going to get a lot of distractions. So staying focused is really important. But and enjoy yourself too. Learn everything you can about the situation, about the college, about what they teach you. I'm not sure if there's like a military college cadet or a military style college. Just learn everything you can, and use all the connections and the networking. Make sure you're respectful, because the world is really small. You never know when you're going to see people again, and they can actually refer you to like really good jobs and amazing stuff later. So yeah, good luck to you. Congratulations. So proud of you. That's awesome. Tim says, nobody sees what I'm going through and nobody cares either. Well, you're here and I'm giving you feedback, Tim. So I'm showing you a lot of care. So yes, of course I care, and don't think that, as awful as whatever you're going through is, it's good to talk to other people who have been through a lot of stuff and, are doing okay today. I mean, you wouldn't think 20 years ago, I was dealing with the most. I got stories for days. I should write it in a book. It'd be like a freaking thriller and horror and all that, a comedy all in one. So, I keep it light now, but yeah, there's been times where you're just like, whoa, that was a close call, or whoa, that was some heavy shit. And, I shed a lot of tears, I've been through all the stuff, but I just think it's just like a spiritual growth you have to go through, because, we're supposed to pray not for an easy life, but the strength to get through it. And that's all we can do, Thanks. Keep up the good work. Bye. Keep up the good work too, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. Yes, love has become the 4-letter word, but we are still trying to make it cool, guys. Love is the frequency I need to be on. And, it's one of those things that you have to show it also to try to receive it. But I think the more I do show people that, the more I get it in return too, because in certain situations where you could go hard and you show mercy, you get mercy shown to you. That's happened to me in so many situations. I found somebody's necklace that I returned, and then I actually misplaced my ring this week and it was returned to me. I was like, thank you, Lord. Just because I was so tired and I left it at the salon I was at. So like, I really do think that like that helps, and also, if you don't feel like people are loving on you, you got to love on yourself. You will find someone that does see you for the whole you and gives you the love that you need to. And I know that, it's hard for people to see, but if you keep an open mind and not try to be too jaded and pissed off, you're gonna attract that, especially when someone sees that you have like a great energy about you, and then when they hear your backstory, like, wow, you've been through so much and you still have like this amazing energy about you, that is so commendable. That could be like super inspiring and really impress someone. So, you know, just hold on. This life is definitely difficult, but you definitely can find other people to connect with. And I don't know how old you are, but I'm sure you got plenty of time. Both of my parents are deceased, and my ex fiance broke up with me before our wedding. And she is dating an 18-year-old, and she just turned 30. Oh my gosh. Tim, you're going to have to email me, dia-at yahoo.com. We might need to schedule weekly visits. I think we can do Zoom calls or emails. You might need, ongoing communication to help you with that. I'm so sorry. I am so sorry. Yes, that's happened to some people that I know too. I have a brother who left his whole family chasing a young Tatiana. So his wife was going through it the most with 5 of their children. So, I commend her for rising above that, but just know that there's people that have these type of situations. She don't have her mom. Her dad's really old and sick, so she got to take care of him and herself and her kids. It's so much. So, just know that you're not alone, and that this too shall pass. And she just made herself look stupid, because I know some people thinking the grass is greener, then they get all the way played. And one day she might be groveling at your feet, and you're going to be like, no, thank you, sister. No, thank you. Right. So, or not, right? That's definitely your decision. But women, do stupid shit all the time too, that they shouldn't be proud of. And not to say that they're blameless, but just know that she wasn't for you. And I'm sorry about your parents. My dad passed away. My mom's in her 80s. So that's just like the cycle of it gets to the point, that you need to, look outside of them too, right? And look to your heavenly parents to keep you strong. I'm not sure if we disconnected, because it just said July. That's so weird. I hope I wasn't disconnected. But just know that you have a heavenly father, and he'll look out. Oh, this is not a pimple, guys. I put blush. It's like that cream blush, and it literally stains my cheek. I'm not even wearing blush anymore. It's the cream kind. And like, look, guys, it will not come off. I'm like trying to take it literally tattooed my cheek. Gosh, I don't even want to go out today now. I can't go out looking like this. It looks crazy. And I'm trying to take it off, but it's like not coming off. You see this junk? It like stained it. So stupid. That's why I don't even like wearing makeup on my skin. I just put eye makeup and be done with it. What's your faith, Tim? Yeah, having faith is so important, Tim, because when we look outside of ourselves, like people ask, like, where do I get the strength to go on? And yeah, I did have to pray. I did have to connect with God. I had to have faith that, I had something outside of me that was guiding me through things, you know what I mean? Because I can't explain how I, emotionally survived certain things. I don't know if I would be as resilient, but I know you don't, I'm not saying you have to have that. It does help, but it does give you some type of accountability, because it is good to know, like, okay, if I did anything drastic, there is like a moral consequence. Some people can't see that because the pain of like a broken heart. That's why love is so important, because it is true. Like the feeling of not having it is like it makes you feel like you're dying. It is like a form of death, but you can come back from it, because if you ever been through a bad breakup, like I said, when I was younger, that was my bad breakup. I felt it and all that. And they say that, say you're with somebody for 8 years, they say it could take up to 4 years to get over that person, because you built like that. So it's that soul tie that you really got to work on. I mean, I even have dreams to this day where I have this person appear to me and I'm like, what is this? You know what I mean? Like, and it's been years and years and years, right? So that is so important. That's why we got to be careful who we entertain and, build connections with, and not being so cavalier when it comes to dating, like some of these, you know, um, characters are doing online, because it does lead to people being like super depressed, taking on other people's energy, especially if you don't know them that well, right? And you don't know what people are capable of even, and sometimes they wait until you finally give them your trust, right? Before they pull some crap like that. And as a matter of fact, I seen my ex-fiance and her little 18-year-old boyfriend yesterday. Well, she's the one that can look really foolish. I know a woman, she was with a guy many years, right? She was really erratic and stuff. And she's in her 50s, and then she was getting attention from a guy in her 40s, and she thought, oh, she hit the jackpot, so she got all whatever with him, and they're already done. Like one and done, right? So if the person already is an ass, it doesn't matter. Like, it's just going to translate to the next person. And obviously, they are focused on an 18-year-old when they're almost 30, which, I had to, I had to think twice about people who were like 10 years younger than me, because, you know what I mean? To me, that wasn't, I got freaked out about that, even though a lot of guys promote that with the younger ones too. I would not condone that in any way, but you got some girls who are trying to feel young again or feel whatever. They have low self-esteem. That really works on women with really low self-esteem, probably. To get that type of attention, maybe it validates, their value in some way. But most of the time that's, doesn't always work out. I mean, taking an 18-year-old seriously when you're almost 30, do you really think it's going to last? Like, they're not thinking about, like, how are you going to trade a sure thing, like someone who cares about you, for a fling? But that's what needs to be done. Sometimes they got to embarrass themselves, and you can meet somebody that's better for you, right? That's happened to the best of us, kind of thing, right? Where you challenge someone, and then they thought that they met someone who's going to put up with their shit, and then they go with them, and then a year later they crash and burn, right? And then looking at you like, why did I do that? And it's like, too late, Holmes, you're lost, right? And that happens with guys all the time too. Sometimes girls do not appreciate what they have, or they get too comfortable, or they think, oh, I found this one guy who's going to treat me this good, every guy is going to do that for me. And that doesn't always happen, does it? Right? So try someone else. Maybe she wasn't for you. It was good she left you early. She was not loyal. She could have left you later, that's true, which would have caused a more greater heartbreak, right? So it sucks, but at least, maybe you're like 30, I'm not sure your age, but that's young enough to rebuild. You know what I mean? You can find someone to make a whole other life and be like, screw that skank, you know what I mean? And be fine with it, right? So yeah, for someone to go out of their way to do that, I mean, that tells you everything you need to know. Sometimes being angry in a way helps you get over the stuff too, but it comes with time, slowly. It's just like any type of injury. It's like getting shot. It's going to hurt really bad the first couple of days, but the pain ends up going away, right? In time. Time does heal all wounds. I know it feels like, you got the whole world on your chest, right? Are you a man? No, I'm not a man, you stupid bitch. Are you a man? I'm probably more man than you. Is that why? Is my ovaries too big? No, I'm a woman, but here we go with the trolls. Probably someone that I can't stand. Are you a man? Okay, where is your picture? Stupid fool. Ask my kids that if I'm a man. Dumb fuck. Pathetic. Pathetic. That's all they got for you guys, right? Are you this? Do you have a brain? Are you even human? Are you that dumb? Go bother Lady Gaga. If you even know that reference. Bro, stop saying if you're mad or are you gonna be, huh? Bro, stop saying if you're mad. I don't know what you're saying. Oh, thank you. I know. I always get the haters say that. It's just like when I get like a mean-spirited guy trying to test me, and then he's like, "Oh, you don't like me because you must be a lesbian." I'm like, "No, you're just an asshole." You know what I mean? Or they'll try to say, "Oh, you must be this," and it's like, "There's nothing about me that suggests that, you fool." Seriously. But they're probably actually attracted to them. The real ones they'll be attracted to. Freaking loser. Hi, how are you, Raiden? How's it been? It's been a while. I got my mods in the room doing what they gotta do. I got some real men in here. Yes, I know. I guess it takes like a real woman to have real men. So because I'm like that warrior princess type, you guys know about the Queen Daya, the Berber queen? I'm always gonna have alpha strong males behind me. So the beta bitches always gotta like try to heckle. Oh, you must be a man because you don't like me, or because you're tough. I know. Bye. Bye, Tim. I hope you feel better. And good luck with everything. Yeah, for real. Yeah, it's been a while, Raiden. How's everything? How's your neck of the woods? I was talking how love is the new four-letter word that like no one wants to show anybody love, obviously, right? All you do is I get harassed on here, or I get objectified, or I don't know what the hell, right? But a lot of channels are like promoting, oh, just being like casual and hook up, or nobody love, nobody trust, nobody respect, right? And I'm just like, I would be not good in this dating market. Bye, good luck. Because I expect, you know, to be treated like a princess. I like to be wines and dines. And yeah, I try to make it worth it. So I'm like, yeah, you treat me good, I treat you good. And you know, I usually do pretty well with you know, the right scenario. Obviously, real men do like me, and I like them, right? But when I get the metro week, you know, whatever, they'll come and start their mess, right? So it's okay. But guys, thank you so much. I've been here for 2 hours. Wow, you guys are like wearing my voice out. But try not to let your heart grow cold, right? Like that song from Omarion. You're gonna hear all kind of jazz. The world's gonna throw a lot at you, but you know, you just turn it around and you know, use it as a teaching tool. Don't let your spirit get broken. You got to have confidence in yourself. Know what time it is, right? No, people are going to say anything. It's just like a comedian or a singer. You're going to get the losers in the corner, right? In the nosebleeds, trying to say whatever to try to get your attention off, right? Because they don't have any talent or anything better to do. So, you know, I'm definitely used to that, you know, getting like the mean boys who when you reject them, they're like, "Ew, you're mean, you're this." I'm like, yeah, heard it all before. Can believe what you want, that's fine. And half of these guys wouldn't know what a real man or woman even was. I don't, it's 2 hours past. I know, right? 2 hours passed so fast. Well, I'm glad I made it interesting for you, right? We talk about all kind of stuff, and please, and that's just the tip of the iceberg, Imran, with my stories. Oh my gosh. I got tea for days, you know, big auntie over here, big sis got tea. So I try to use it to, you know, we learn something from it. And, you know, I've been working so much. I haven't had time to do my lives for you all, but I'll try to make more time. You know, I'm a little busy tomorrow with the dentist appointment. Always with these dental work. Gosh, that's where all my money got to go these days, right? Trying to keep them, you know, looking nice all the time, right? Got to get a filling. Got to love that one. That's why we try to limit the sugar intake the best we can. And yeah, definitely take care of yourself, love on yourself, try to love your neighbor, but don't take no shit either, guys, because in this world, hate sells more than love. People just are miserable, so they're going to try to spread that on you, right? If they see that you're too happy, happy, joy, joy, they don't like that, right? Or if they can't exploit you or have access to you, then they'll do that too, right? It's all good, right? I haven't got to this point in my life, right, allowing myself to be, mistreated, right? So bye. See you around, Emron. Have a wonderful day. I will check back with you guys soon. Stay well and